Today we're making a quick visit to the British Library. It's the official deposit library for the UK, so all books published in UK and Ireland have to be purchased and stored here. And we're going to start just down the road at the British Museum and the reading room in the centre here with this magnificent dome. It's actually in the centre of the British Museum. It's probably most famous for Karl Marx sat and wrote a lot of Das Kapital here. There's always been a reading room and then the large deposit library, but 1973 the British Library was separated from the British Museum. And you can still visit this. We'll be covering it on our British Museum tour in the next few weeks. It's a very grand old room, very impressive. Quite different to the modern British Library on Euston Road, which opened in 1998. British Library is actually quite a substantial institution. It has between 170 and 200 million books and publications. There used to be, near RAF Hendon, there used to be a newspaper depository, but it was moved out and turned into a block of flats. And there's also one for film as well, out in Hertfordshire, I believe. It's open once or twice a year. But this very impressive building here opened up 1998. It's between Euston Station and King's Cross. That's actually St Pancras Hotel. You can see in the background a hotel next to the train station. Has this grand piazza, which on a rare sunny day is lovely, is a little bit slippy on a rainy day. We'll make our way inside. Filming is allowed, but there are some of the books you can't photograph, so we're not going to be looking at those. And as usual, won't be dwelling on items. It's more a taster to encourage you to visit. As you enter, there's a huge atrium with a statue of Shakespeare, a series of stairs up, and there's various reading rooms for specialist subjects, like there's a business one, there's science and medicine, there's some busts of famous authors there. And there's a permanent exhibition of some really gorgeous manuscripts and publications. And if you're at all interested in history, religion, the arts, culture, you should visit this. It's free. It's a small room, but in there you can see examples of old manuscripts, beautiful first edition folios, wonderful prints, very rare and old manuscripts ranging through to the Beatles. We won't dwell on the Beatles. I think some of the ones further down you're not allowed to photograph, so try to avoid those. But you can see medieval manuscripts, old Sikh writings, copies of the Quran, and it really is a beautiful collection of very old prints. Probably the things that stuck out most for me are Shakespeare. You have the first, second, and third edition folios from straight after his death. You have very ancient maps. You have a near original copy of the Magna Carta, one of the copies that was distributed later on, but it is a very old one. Original Gutenberg Bible. Unfortunately, the camera's a bit pointing up, but they do not specifically forbid taking photos, very much not so, but there are specific items they ask you not to. And looks like I missed it. Yeah, there you go, Magna Carta. So there's a good copy of the Magna Carta. If you want to see an original, there's a very good one at Salisbury Cathedral. And there's also some very pretty good ones at other cathedrals around the country. Every cathedral and major institution was sent one. I believe the one here is from about the 1400s. And here, beautiful Buddhist works, each of the examples here, there's nothing in this room which isn't, well, to someone priceless, but very significant works. Each one is chosen to be a very good example, very important, very significant. And the sacred text in the middle is beautiful. Some original Bibles and books from monasteries. There's some very good Shintoist manuscripts. Can't really do it justice with a video. Now, there are plenty of museums and collections that have a beautiful book, but this room in the British Library really has some excellent works. You see these beautifully detailed, gilded books from a period where people really didn't have books and most people couldn't read. Really stunning examples. See some really beautiful books. And some very modern, stylized, creative works as well. It's not all 500-year-old books. It's a very large contemporary collection as well. There's an interesting section here on printing with some of the original works from printing presses and printing from various parts of the world as well. It's not just English language, there's a large collection of foreign language books. I remember coming here and finding an English language Dutch book on a very specific business topic, and looking to buy it online, you're looking at hundreds of pounds. So came to the British Library, and within 10 minutes I've got it in my hands and I was able to sit and read the book. But it's a fairly small room, a wonderful collection, and I'm just giving a little taster of it really. This gallery is actually closing for a few months for renovation, so when this video comes out I think it will already have closed. It's well worth putting on your itinerary, same as the Welcome collection. If you're coming into London to see something like the British Museum, you pretty much walk past this if you're coming through Euston or King's Cross. So coming in and allowing just 15 minutes to appreciate some of these wonderful books, they definitely will have items you've never seen before. I really loved this section with the Shakespeares side by side. The first folio, the second and third folio, which is pretty much the version you would buy in a bookshop today. And on the other side are manuscripts of some of Shakespeare's works. One of them, for Hamlet, actually dates from during his life, and it's effectively a pirate copy where someone left the theatre, remembered all the words they could and wrote them down, and it's about half the size of the real play of Hamlet. Here's a beautiful scientific manuscript. Also noteworthy, on the same floor when you come out of the precious books section is a series of displays. There's a very good stamp collection, some of which is displayed in these binders on the walls that you can slide out. There's an old printing press, and always popular with tourists and visitors is this storage block in the centre, which stores hundreds of, well, probably thousands of books in a floor to ceiling bookshelf, which you can get to the books. So really beautiful, but this is for all extents and purposes more of a display, but they are actually available books. And there's a little cafe here. It's a really beautiful building, respectfully modern, with certainly old influences, and a truly immense collection. You know, between 170 and 200 million. They don't know how many they've got. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that brief guide to what is really a substantial collection, and advise that you visit it next time you're in London. And please subscribe for more museum tours. In the coming weeks, we're doing the John Soames and the Hunterian Museum, neither of which allow filming, so they're going to be very short films. Only film where it's allowed.